Welcome to Jumping In, the short-form series of the Jedburgh Podcast. I'm the creator and host, Fran Racioppi. Each week I speak with transformative leaders, visionaries, drivers of change, and those dedicated to winning no matter the challenge. Our long-form series goes deep. Our short-form series allows us to jump in fast, explore some of today's most prominent topics, catch up with previous guests, or give you my opinion on what's happening in the world today. And just like our Jedburgh teams of the past who jumped into occupied France the night before D-Day, we get the information out and we get off the drop zone. The Jedburgh Podcast is sponsored by Jersey Mike's Subs. Together, we share the mission of giving back. We're partnered with Talent Work Group, a management consulting and executive search firm focused on helping you optimize the people side of your business. A percentage of all proceeds is dedicated to the Special Operations Warrior Foundation. Visit us at jedburghpodcast.com, follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. We're over the drop zone. We got the green light. Now it's time to jump in. It's no secret fitness is an important part of being in the military. I was in the best shape of my life when I was in the Army. But being in the military, it doesn't only teach you how to physically train yourself, it teaches you how to train others. That's a skill that's easily transferable for so many when they transition out of their military service. Our setup at Sandlot Jax and the Go Ruck Games put us right next to F45 Training. F45 took the Sandlot opportunity to debut their new training trailer, which was lined with TVs and had 4 sides ready to train multiple groups of people at the exact same time. After a day of watching group after group get ripped on each side of this trailer and having to go back and listen to each one of my podcasts that had them yelling in the background, I figured I'd walk over and see what exactly was going on. I was impressed, so I brought Mike Nichols, their Director of Military Operations, into the ambulance for a discussion on F45, what it's like to work alongside Mark Wahlberg, and their newly launched Veteran Impact Program. F45 is expanding opportunities for veterans. They're focused on employment, internship, apprenticeship, and ownership for active duty service members and veterans, while they place F45 studios on military bases. Mike and I also discussed his career in the Marines and how fitness, specifically how F45, gave him a new purpose in his life after his career was over. Take a listen to this episode and then check out our YouTube page where Mike gave me the grand tour of the trailer. Then Mike and I crushed some Jersey Mikes. Mike, welcome to the Jedburgh Podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We're here, Sandlot Jax. You are right next to us. So you, Mike Nichols, F45.
Yeah.
All right, so right here next to us, we have done a number of episodes over the last 24 hours where we have your team working out in the background. I keep looking out there, looking at all these exercises. And for anyone who's listening to this, they have to check out the video too, because it is so impressive what your team is doing. I appreciate you coming over here.
Absolutely.
You're running the military transition initiatives. We're going to talk about those. We're going to talk about F45. We're going to talk about your career. But appreciate you taking time out of the day.
Absolutely.
Beautiful day here at Sandlot Jax in Jacksonville. They're working out now. We're going to hear them in the background. Our title sponsor, Jersey Mike's, just showed up bringing lunch. So when you start drooling, looking out there at all those sandwiches, we'll wave them over and bring you one if you need it.
We're going to have to yell, cut!
Yeah, that's it. Give me 2. All right. But let's get into it.
All right. Thank you for having me.
So talk to me about F45 and your role there.
So I serve as the military director for F45. So we are for those that don't know what F45 is, we are a global fitness company. We have sold over 3,300 studios in 67 countries around the globe.
That's it?
To include, and here's the crazy part, before I go any further, we have F45 studios in both Iraq and Afghanistan. That's the power of F45 and F45.
Still, even without us.
Without that, like at the end of the day, if you can penetrate those 2 markets from a consumer standpoint, we have something extremely special. So the men and women that have served in Iraq and have served in Afghanistan, F45 is helping penetrate those markets and bring in some peace and some stability to those communities.
Awesome. So F45, we know it most commonly by its association with Mark Wahlberg, and appreciate everything that he's done for veterans.
Yeah.
And as the military director there, you guys have created this F45 Veterans Initiative Program.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the impact of that, what you're trying to achieve, and what the focus is.
Well, the Veterans Impact Program for F45 started in 2009. Actually, probably a little bit before that, but in 2009, let's take a step back. 2007, I got out of the Marines after 12 years, 1 month, 13 days. Nobody's counting.
Was it a count up or a count down? Or maybe a little bit of both.
And I moved back to Louisiana, where I'm from. Got involved with the convenience store industry. I had 6 convenience stores, grew to 10 in 2 years. My first full year in business in 2008, we generated $49.5 million in gross revenue. I was making great money, doing great things.
How do you go from the time in the Marine Corps into the convenience store industry? Because we talk to so many entrepreneurs, so I'm super interested.
So my uncle is a business mogul in Louisiana. He owns probably 25 to 30 companies. And I got out of the Marines in 2007, and I got in real estate business, and then the real estate market, as you know, crashed.
About the worst time to go into the real estate market.
I was in Iraq in 2006 to 2007, came back, I got into real estate, and as soon as I got into real estate, the market crashed. And my uncle called me, he said, hey, I have convenience stores, they need leadership, would you come down and help grow the convenience store industry? He's in the casino business, gaming business, you name it, he's got his hands in it. And so he asked me to come back to Louisiana. So I went back to Louisiana, got involved, starting with 6 stores with him. He partnered me up with a guy that been in the convenience store industry for 30 years. And so he helped give me that hand up. And then I became the director of operations for our convenience store business. So we grew it from 6 to 10 in 2 years. And we generated $49.5 million my first full year in business. So,
what's the biggest challenge coming out of the military going into
transition? I mean, the hardest part was the mental challenge of like what's next, because like I'm in Iraq doing combat missions, and I'm studying for the California real estate test. And I get out of the military, take the California real estate test, and I start working in the real estate industry, and then it just tanks. And it's like, Lord, what am I supposed to do? And so by the grace of God, my uncle called me, asked me to come down, and just did what I did in the Marines. I don't know anything about the convenience store business, but in the military, they teach you to take charge, care out the plan of the day. Don't let what you can't do stop you from what you can do. So week after week, month after month, people were teaching me and molding me. And if we're not humble as in our transition, we won't learn what we need to learn so we can get back to that leadership role. So long story short, in the middle of making all this money, my best friend, Nicholas Gamble, he joined the Marine Corps, followed me into the Marines, got in a car accident when he was in the Marine Corps, and he had gotten medically discharged. Long story short, he got addicted to drugs, and he ended up committing suicide. So in the middle of all my great success, my best friend ripped my heart out of my chest, so to speak. And in the middle of all this amazing things that were happening, there was something that shifted in me that said, hey, it's great making money, but what's my purpose, right? And so it started the onset of, do I want to do the convenience store industry for the next 20, 30 years?
Right.
And God was calling me to leave the convenience store business. So after 2 years of doing the convenience store industry, I sold my shares of my company, moved back to California, and started an entertainment company and a fitness company. And my idea is to go back to California, start a fitness company, and help service members help them with combat readiness, and then help them with transitional readiness. And long story short, after a year of being back in California, I ran out of money, and I had to get a job.
That's the hardest part.
I ran out of capital, and I had to get a job, and I ended up at the Department of Veterans Affairs. So for 10 years, I was at the Department of Veterans Affairs processing disability claims for veterans.
For 10 years?
For 10 years.
Wow.
And then at the same time, I was working on my fitness company, and I would teach fitness classes before work, during work, and after work.
See, that's awesome, even though you had to go get a job. You didn't give up on that.
I didn't give up. Like, a lot of people are inspired to do a lot of things, but a lot of people are not committed. So one of my slogans is be committed, not inspired. Because while I was at the VA, working to pay, put food on the table, I was building the Veterans Impact Program. So long story short, I had great success in the fitness industry, but after 8 years of doing it, God finally gave me peace about shutting the business down because it didn't have the global impact that I saw in my heart. And so I closed my business on a Friday, and I joined F45 just to work out on a Monday. And I fell in love with F45. So when I closed my business on Friday, I thought my fitness journey was over. I was like, all right, Lord, I think I missed it. You weren't really telling me to go back to California and do all this.
Yeah.
And about 3 months into working out at F45, I had a complete transformation as far as my health. And I was like, man, they have the infrastructure to really help servicemen and women.
Why did you have that transformation? So there's a theory behind F45. You know, it's this functional 45. Can you just talk for a second about that?
Yeah. So I think there's two anomalies that stand out about F45 for me. In the military community, we have our band of brothers, so to speak. When we get out, we lose that pack. And what I've noticed in the F45 community, they bring people together for the common cause, which is fitness. And I've been around fitness as a professional. I'm 46 years old. And out of my 27, 28-year professional career from 18 to now, fitness is the only thing I've found that transcends race, religion, ethnicity, military rank, financial status. None of that crap matters.
It's a great equalizer.
It's an equalizer. It brings people together for the common cause, but it tears down the walls that divide us every day. So, in the military, they teach you like black, white, Mexican, Filipino. Who gives a shit? Let's get the mission accomplished, right? It's the same kind of culture at F45. And since being out of the military for over 2-3, well, actually, I didn't start F45 until 2019. So from 2007 to 2019, I didn't have a wolf pack, so to speak, like I had in the military. And F45 brings people together for the common cause, which is fitness, and they build a community around it. And today was a perfect example. Like, we had almost 400 people out here participating at this fitness festival.
Yeah.
Because it's all about family and community, right? And so what's the two anomalies about F45 is, number one, is their human performance and optimization. Their software and technology, where everybody around the globe is doing the same workout at the same time. Not at the same time, but you get it,
right?
Within the 24-hour period. And number two is they bring people together, and we really circle around our community and protect each other and watch over each other.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing that here. You talked about the workout you guys did this morning, and we saw it. We were watching. We were here because we were with Sarah Wilkinson doing Chad 1000X, right? The 1000 step-ups. I mean, I know you did that workout before you did your workout, so you couldn't join us. I get it, but
it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. I know, but I mean, I bring it up because when we talk about fitness as being this community builder, right, and something that anyone can do and come together and break down those walls. I mean, I'm doing this with Sarah. We're honoring her husband, Navy SEAL Chad Wilkinson, who died by suicide, and she has in her bag a weight, right? And halfway through, she gets a blister and she takes her shoe off, and she completes this thing with one shoe and a weight in her bag. I'm next to her, and I had nothing in my bag.
Yeah.
Right? And we did the same amount of steps, but she crushed it. Yeah. Right? And you get a tremendous amount. You look across and the rest of the team. Some people did it with no bag. Some people did it with a bag. Some people did it with their shirt off. Some people did 500. Other people did 600. But we all came together and we all shared that experience. And after, it's all hugs and you achieved something.
It's don't let what you can't do stop you from what you can do. A lot of people make a lot of excuses to not do something. My motto is don't let what you can't do stop you from what you can do. You can't run, walk. If you can't walk, ride. If you can't ride, swim. Don't let what you can't do stop you from what you can do. Look, life is full of challenges, and there's power in partnership. And F45 does an amazing job bringing people together for the common cause.
Yeah. So back to the program.
Yeah.
The Veterans Initiative program. So you're there. You're working out there for 3 months. You come into the company. You start working there full time, and now the idea behind this program is that you can bring veterans in, assist them through their transition, and then provide an opportunity for them to become franchisees.
So we're doing five primary things at F45 in the military division. Number one is providing employment opportunities, veteran, not veteran, certified or not certified. If you are a service member trying to get involved with the fitness industry, reach out to us at F45VIP.com. We'll do everything that we can to help you. Number two is we have a Department of Defense approved skill bridge program. And what that means is basically we're authorized by the Department of Defense to work with service members up to 6 months before they get out of the military. We can train them, educate them, certify them, and get them ready to be considered for employment at F45. So for example, right now today we have almost 100 servicemen and women interning, being paid by the Department of Defense, while they're learning their next transition. So we're helping solve suicide before it even becomes a thought.
Yeah.
And so that's the second initiative that we're doing. We also have a Department of Labor approved Master Fitness Trainer program, registered apprenticeship program. What that means is a service member trains with us in SkillBridge, gets a job at F45. For the next 2.5 years, we went to the Department of Labor and said, hey, we can train them to become Master Fitness Trainers. They'll get their military housing allowance and stipend every month.
Really?
Just to be on the job training with F45. And so we've done the hard work. It took us 2.5 years to get approved by the Department of Labor, but F45 has given us the capital and the resources we need, me and our team, to go out and help more service members. So that's the third initiative. Number 4 is,
and that's it's just so important because you talked about transition, and you talked about the difficulty of transition and trying to figure out what you want to be when you grow up. Really, I mean, I joke all the time that I've been out since 2016. And so it's now 6 years now. In January 2016, I got out, and I feel like just in the last year, I've kind of figured out what I want to be when I grow up, right? And I'm here, right? This is kind of it. And when you can provide a venue for someone before they even get out to start to figure that out, even if they determine that's not for them, but they're starting to check things off, and they're starting to transition their mind and the way they approach their life and their thought process about what they're going to be next. The earlier you can introduce that to somebody, the easier you're making that transition for them.
The Department of Defense SkillBridge program has been around since 2014. And there's probably 1,000 companies that have SkillBridge programs, which is career progression roadmaps before they get out of the military. And I really believe that F45 has the infrastructure. If you love fitness and love people, we can help you. So we call it the left and the right of the DD214. We can help you before you get out. We can help you when you get out, right? Our fourth initiative is ownership. We have servicemen and women that want to get into ownership. We have 2 roadmaps for that. If a service member comes to us and wants to get into ownership and they have their own capital, we will provide them a 50% off discount on their initial franchise fee, which is $50,000. We bump it down to $25,000. We give them a jump start into the fitness industry. But the second thing we're doing is we have an Armed Forces to Entrepreneur program, which is basically helping fast track service members, and we help them find the funding and the resources that they need so they can start their own F45 studio. So that's the fourth thing that we're doing. And the fifth, and probably the long-term goal, is to place an F45 training solution on every military installation around the globe. We put our first F45 studio at Marine Corps Air Station Miramar back in 2021. We grand opening, and
on the base,
on the military base at the MWR facility. Well, in the Marine Corps, they call it MCCS, but it's known as MWR facilities, basically general population for the military community. And we just took 2,000 square foot and we flipped it into the most efficient 2,000 square feet that they have. You get all the hardware, the software, the equipment, and all the programming. And instead of selling franchises to military bases, we're licensing our software and technology and our programs to the military community. So if you look at the DoD orders about what MWR is supposed to do, is they're supposed to give servicemen and women access to similar programs and initiatives that the civilian community does, and it's part of their recruiting process to keep them to stay in. The quality of life. So MWR's main purpose is to provide the quality of life for the military community, and we're partnering with MWR, MCCS, to provide them combat readiness solutions. So initially, we're going to place F45 studios inside MWR facilities. Number 2 is we just rolled out our new combat readiness solution, a 20-foot mobile trailer with our software and technology. We specialize in human performance and optimization.
Let's do a tour. When we're done with this, let's go do a tour of it.
Absolutely, 100%. Right. And so that's our 5th initiative. And as long as we stayed focused on this core initiative, we
got hecklers now.
Our moral compass at F45 is focused on those 5 primary things. As long as we don't deviate from that, we will help thousands, tens of thousands, maybe millions in due season to help them convert their military experience into the fitness industry with us here at F45.
How many have come through the program so far?
At this very moment, we have about 100 interns. That means 100 service members that are on active duty. that are in our program. Roughly, it's probably 100 have already gone through. We have 100 right now actively in our program, and we probably have 300 more scheduled to start this year. It's massive.
Wow.
Like, it doesn't matter white, black, Mexican, Filipino, motor transport, logistics, intel, military rank, staff. None of that crap matters in the fitness industry. If you love fitness and love people, we have that opportunity to help. And that skill set in the military is easily translated into the fitness industry. In F45, their leadership has given us unprecedented amount of access and capital to go out and help our servicemen and women.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible. How are you recruiting for this? So how can we get the word out?
So number one is you can go to F45VIP.com. You can go to F45military.com, which leads to the same URL. That URL basically talks about all of our programs and initiatives. But if you're interested in the entrepreneur stuff, go to F45after.com, and it talks about how we can help fast track you into the fitness industry. But how we're getting the word out initially is the Department of Defense has a SkillBridge website, and every branch of service goes to that website to figure out what companies are on the list for SkillBridge, right?
Yeah.
And that's how we're initially helping get the word out. Of course, we have Mark Wahlberg. We have a new military brand ambassador by the name of Tim Kennedy. He'll be here today. And so we're leveraging all of our resources from active duty to, ambassadors, to military ambassadors, to my YouTube channel, so on and so forth, just to help get the word out.
Awesome. Well, we want to help in that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think whatever we can do to help support that, I think that's really, really impactful. And I think these programs, there's so much talking, and from your time in and working with different veterans organizations, there's a lot of people who talk about helping veterans transition, but there are a lesser amount of people who have very concrete, deliberate programs that put people, not only provide the opportunity, but put them in positions to be successful by giving them the training, giving them the support, creating the infrastructure. And I think that's what's super powerful about this program.
So for 8 years, I had my own fitness company. I tried to raise capital to do what we're doing at F45. And so long story short, no one would pay attention. Like we put together investment packets and sent it to a bunch of investment firms, and nobody would even pay attention, not even reply to an email or a phone call, whatever the case may be. That's why I said after 8 years, I thought, man, my journey in the fitness industry is over. Like, all right, Lord, I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, but it's not working. So I closed the good thing, and it ended up at a great thing. So there's a lot of frustration through the process of getting to where we're at today, but a lot of people see the success that F45 has in the military program. But you got to remember, it's been a 14-year journey, first and foremost. Second off, I had to go through those strong struggles so that I can help F45. And F45 is the only company out of my 14-year journey trying to raise capital to say, something, this is brilliant. Let's support this. Whatever the military division needs, F45 is 100% behind it. And, a lot of people say, hey, would you come do this for? No. Look, I've been on this journey for 14 years. I have no interest to look at another company. Right. What we've built has been the hardest thing in my entire career. 46 years old. We're carrying heavy backpacks to help our servicemen and women. And F45 has written the checks that we need to help them before they get out of the military. It's absolutely priceless to me. And my heart just goes out to F45.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question that I ask everyone who comes on this podcast. The Jedburghs, we talked about the Jedburghs before we started.
Yeah.
The Jedburghs had to do 3 things every day to be successful. They had to be able to shoot, they had to be able to move, they had to be able to communicate. If they did these 3 things with precision as core foundational tasks, then they could actually apply their focus on more complex challenges that came their way every day. So these things set the conditions for them to be successful in all other facets. What are the 3 things that you do every day to be successful in your world?
Number one, I'm up at 4:30 every morning.
So you left 4.5 hours of the workday on the table.
Yeah. Exactly. So every morning I'm up at
getting up late.
4:30 in the morning. I'm at a F45 studio or a gym at 5 o'clock in the morning working out. So wake up early, work out, and come home and give praise to the Lord that I'm able to do this every day and help so many servicemen and women. I think those are the three things that I do personally and professionally that keep me rooted and grounded, and everything else falls into place. Like, you know, one of my slogans is take care of the people and the people will take care of the money. A lot of times, a lot of companies are trying to make money, but if you really get back to the basics of taking care of the people, money has no choice but to show up. And what I've learned in this process of 14 years trying to figure this out is just stick to the basics, love on people, motivate and inspire. You can't help everybody. Let me give you an analogy that someone shared with me one time, and I'll never forget it. There's this little boy walking down the beach, and there's thousands of starfish on the beach. And the little boy's just skipping along, grabbing a starfish, throwing it back in the water, skipping along, grabbing another starfish, throwing it back in the water. And as he's throwing it back into the water, this old man walks up to the young little boy. He's like, "Son, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm helping the starfish." He's like, "There's millions of starfish out here. You cannot help them all." And the little boy looked at him, looked back on the ground, found a starfish, picked it up, threw it back in the water. He said, "I helped that one." And he walked a little bit more, picked up another one, helped that one. That is what F45 is doing. We can't help every serviceman or woman, but every starfish that we can grab and throw back in the water and giving them an opportunity to hands up. Look, we're changing the game like one service member at a time. We've had real testimony of service members and women saying, "I was going to commit suicide until I heard about SkillBridge with you guys." Like, it's priceless. So what started when I was making millions of dollars to where I'm at today, it's the heartbeat and the authenticity of helping the next starfish, the next service member. And right now we're doing it in real time.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I'll give you one more because all those people have families.
Yeah.
And so the reach goes well beyond just those service members and the amount of people that are being touched every day by what you guys are doing.
And the beauty about the
changing lives.
SkillBridge program is we take care of active duty, reserve, guard, military spouses. And regardless, we're able to help F45's infrastructure, 3,300 studios, 67 countries around the globe. We have the ability to help the armed forces, not just the United States, but around the globe, right? And so, like, right now, we're in the middle of talking with Singapore military, Korean military, Australian military, of course, the U.S. military. And what we're doing here in the United States, we have the ability to replicate around the globe. And so, right now, the F45 military division, we have about 12 people part of our team. But in the next 5 years, we'll be the biggest, I believe, I could be wrong, but by faith, I think that we'll become the biggest division at F45 because we can help with human performance and optimization. So let me give you a perfect example. There's a lot of smart people in this world that have the ability to develop strength and conditioning programs to help people. But then you got to take that programming. I got to teach 100, 200 people on how to implement that programming. Now imagine taking that, putting it into the brains and the software system of F45 from a human performance standpoint and help them take that amazing programming and articulate it across the board. The standard of deviation goes from here to here to like a level playing field. So like our movement at F45 is really around that software system, and we're able to build a community around it. We are going to do that for our armed forces around the globe.
Awesome. Amazing. Mike, thanks for hopping in here. It's a truly impactful program. We got to stay in touch.
Absolutely.
I want to watch it grow. I want to spread the word.
Yeah.
I want to get our audience engaged with it, and I want to help you continue to create impact.
And vice versa. Like, look, if you are a service member, man, woman, someone that has a service member, family member, somebody that needs help, a hand up, not a handout. Look, if they love fitness and love people, or you want to get back to the basics, just join F45 in your local community. Or if you want to get involved with the fitness industry, look, I will do everything that I can to help our servicemen and women not fall on their sword. So in the Marine Corps, we'd say, hey, don't get out and fall on your sword, meaning that, like, yeah, you got a plan, but then you fail. Look, failure is inevitable. Progress is optional. If you don't fail, you won't succeed. And I failed over and over and over again, and that's why I succeed.
It's part of it. It's part of the journey.
It's part of the journey.
You don't understand your limits. You don't know you don't know what you're truly capable of until you push it and you fail and you don't get there, and then you reassess, you learn from it. We talk about effective
people are waking up
intelligence.
as they're listening to this podcast. There's people listening that are going to be crying, and I want to encourage you, don't cry to quit, cry to keep going. That means, look, suck it up. We all hurt. We all need we all need help. And there's moments in the middle of all this amazing stuff we're doing that there's doubt, there's worry, there's anxiety. But don't cry to quit, cry to keep going.
Yeah, it's drive.
Yeah.
You have to have the drive.
Failure is inevitable. Progress is optional.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. God bless, and hopefully we'll see you at F45.
All right. Time. We're taking a tour, and we're hitting Jersey Mike's.
All right, we're going to hit some Jersey Mike's.
American Jedburghs went on to form the foundation of the United States Special Forces and the Special Activities Directorate of the Central Intelligence Agency. Thanks for listening to the Jedburgh Podcast. I'm your creator and host, Fran Racioppi. Join us next week for a new episode on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out on YouTube for full episodes, highlights, and other behind-the-scenes content. If you like what you heard, give us a like and leave a review. Follow me, Fran Racioppi, Talent War Group, and our sponsor Jersey Mike Subs on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Send your comments and inquiries to media@talentwargroup.com. As former members of Special Operations Forces, the Jedburgh Podcast and Talent War Group contribute a percentage of all profits to Special Operations Warrior Foundation, supporting the families of our fallen warriors. Thanks for joining us on this episode. How you prepare today determines success tomorrow.